Hello, angels. I'm Miss Quiet Queen, and you're now tuned in to the Quiet Queen Project. Welcome back to my channel once again. Let's talk about the land and the in between. The land and the in between that I'm speaking of are dimensions and worlds that are in between worlds and dimensions that are in between. Also, there's different timelines or places of existence in the in between on grid lines. You know what grid lines are. I don't really have time to try to explain it here. Go look it up if you have time. Each time, you know how each time you go through a certain world, like we're on the physical realm, above us is the astral realm, and then there's the mental realm, and so on and so forth. In between each one of the realms, there's a buffering zone. And that's like the buffering zone is the zone between where the two worlds meet. And it's the same concept for ley lines and grid lines. There's a world that exists between, or a dimension that exists between buffering, between worlds and realms and zones. And what I want to talk about is I visited I visited a few. The realms that I'm talking about in particular, one is there's two that come to my mind that I visited, that I've seen, and there are people there, and these people, um, were the one that I visited. They used to be they used to be alive here on the 3D realm, but for whatever reason they transitioned. And instead of moving on or up to the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension or the sixth dimension or wherever their soul needed to go, they opted to stay in these in between realms. Now, everybody don't have to stay in these in between realms. Everybody don't have to go to the fourth dimension or the fourth realm, like which is where most people who pass away from the third dimension, where we are now, they typically go to the fourth. They will ascend to the fourth dimension. I know people think you either ascend going to heaven or descend going to hell, but that's really not the case. You ascend whether you're a good person or a bad person. You ascend to the fourth realm because there's no other way to go. Okay, usually you're ascend, but whatever your ascension is, it could be a negative ascension, it could be a positive ascension, depending on what your spiritual blueprint is and what you need to do while you're here, or what you need to do when you pass on. Now, these in between realms, um, they are very much needed because if not, I think we'll explode some kind of way. I can't really explain that or how, but it's necessary to have these in between worlds, and it is also necessary for some people to live in these worlds. It's just necessary for like so that they can regulate things and keep things balanced. So I visited one day when I was in a lucid dream. I kind of thought it was a astral travel. It may have been a little bit of both. That's what spirit is trying to tell me right now. This particular event that I'm thinking about, it was a little bit of both that I went through. And I remember coming through the sky to this realm. It was like I was piercing through our sky into another sky. And this dimension that I went to when I was lucid dreaming, aka or also astral traveling, whichever, it was dark. I'm trying to take myself back, so I'm closing my eyes. It was a dark. I don't know if it was. I'm getting the feeling that it's typically dark all the time there. That the lightest it is. I hear something. I'm home alone right now. Everybody is gone, and whenever I get to meditating or doing a video, something always makes noise or something drops or whatever. Anyway, so I get the lightest that it will be in this particular realm is dusk. You know what dusk look like in our world, right? That's their daylight. But at this particular time when I visited them, it was dark, and it was people sitting on the porch, and um, yeah, it was. There were black women. It was just, it doesn't matter what the race is, but I'm just explaining everything to you. It's not a racial thing. I'm just recognizing who I saw. It was a black lady there, and she was sitting with someone else. I can't remember what that person looked like, but I think it was another female. And it was a child. There was other children in the background playing. You could hear people in the background, people doing things. It was like it was really busy, and even though it was dark, it was pitch black. And I came in on a zebra. Before I came through their sky on this zebra, my mind was already there. Try to follow me because I don't even know how this happened. I knew I was traveling and I was on this zebra, and I said I knew that I was going to get on a zebra. I didn't know how I knew, but next thing I know, I was flying on a zebra. The zebra was flying in the air, and it was taking me. He was happy that I was there with him, and that I. It was a small zebra. It's one of those. You seen those midget horses before? The full-grown horse, but it's real little. Well, this zebra looks like. Well, it was a zebra. It wasn't a horse. It was a black and white zebra, and it was flying me around. And I already knew that I was going to stay on its back for as long as I could, and it wasn't going to let me. It wanted me to get off. It kept like, motioning for me to get off because I was getting heavier and heavier for it. And it was like it only wanted to drive me, take me to this particular realm. But my mind was already there, and I heard the woman that I was just telling you about sitting on the porch, drinking lemonade, talking to her friend, and she was combing this little girl's hair. The little girl was sitting between her legs, and she was braiding her hair. It was dark, and she was like, "Oh, here come another one! Here come another one!" And I asked Spirit right away, "Tell me what's going on. What does she mean? Here comes another one." What she was talking about was they were on in the in between, and they were looking at and counting all of the people from the third realm, from our realm, visiting their realm through lucid dreaming. They knew that our bodies physically were back where they were, wherever we lived, and our soul, our spirit, our essence was astral traveling or lucid dreaming. They can see it. People on this particular land of the in between, they can see. They can see live people there, and they sit there on their porches waiting to see all of the live human beings that's coming through their world. There's another one. Oh, here, this one is riding on a zebra. We're like TV to them, but it's real. It's real reality TV when it's actually in their face. Our reality TV, we have to watch it on the screen. Somebody's real life. When they want to see reality TV, they just sit out on the porch, look up in the sky because they're on that realm, and they can see, oh, she's having a dream about horses. Oh, he's having a dream about drowning. This person is having a dream about building an elaborate empire, and so on and so forth. And they just see us going past in the sky. It's beautiful. The universe is beautiful. The mind is beautiful. The soul is beautiful. You can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. Whatever you desire, when you get to these places, you can do that, make it manifest. The reason why I am not quite as successful as I can be. The reason why that I don't have all the things that I need is because I know and understand now that there has been several upon several upon several upon several spells put against me. I remember being 7 years old, 8 years old, and my mom shaved my head. She shaved it short like it is now. But I had long hair when I was a little girl. And she shaved my hair, and they used that hair over the years to cast spells upon me to slow me down so that I won't be successful in a certain way. And I'll talk about that later. But this is just to slow me down because they fear who I truly am. But now they understand. that the spells that were put upon me and you, they're breaking, they're expiring. And the people on these in betweens are so excited and happy for us. I'm gonna tell you someone else who's very excited and happy for us too. Are the people who live in the center of the earth. They're going to be the ones to come up to earth and help us get things together, help us clean things up, and help people keep their sanity as much as possible because I already told you guys the election is coming up. Trump will win. And don't Trump is not the most horrible, disgusting person that you think he is. Yeah, he has said some jacked up things. He has said some crazy things out of his mouth. He's not the most charismatic person in the world. No, he's not. But let me tell you something. Why is he? Well, let me ask you something. Why is he the only president in the history of the United States that has ever talked about where are the children? I didn't even know that there were over 800,000 children kidnapped a year until Donald Trump was president and made that known. But why is he the only one to say, hey, let's figure out, let's go get these kids? We know that sex trafficking is happening. We know that human trafficking is happening, not just to children, but to everybody. Well, let's do this. Let's find out who's doing this to these kids. Find these kids and hold them accountable. And the same people that's doing this are some of the same ones that are committing treason. Okay. So I'm going to talk about all that later. I just want to touch base with the land and the in between and different things like that. If I talked about anything that piques your interest, leave a comment down below. I'm anxious to hear about it. I'm glad to get back online. I'm going to be doing some videos begging for people to pre-order my book. And well, no, it's not time to pre-order yet. I just wanted to give you an update. No, never mind. I'm not going to give you an update on my book yet. This video is a little longer than I want it to be. I'm going to be posting several videos tonight since I'm home alone. I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take my spiritual bath and do some meditating and spread love. So that's all for now. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for listening, everyone. Stay in the light.